Hello, and thank you for watching this October 10th weather update brought to you by Agrible, the makers of Morning Farm Report. My name is Eric Snodgrass, and I am a senior atmospheric scientist and co-founder of Agrible. Well, last week's weather was dominated by the impacts of Hurricane Matthew, a powerful Category 4 strength hurricane with 145-mile-per-hour winds at its strongest. After destroying parts of Haiti and Cuba, where several hundred people are now dead and many are still missing, Matthew moved along the east coast of Florida and set aim on Georgia and the Carolinas. Matthew missed a landfall in Florida by just a few miles, but that did not prevent this hurricane from causing some incredible destruction in the United States, too. Matthew made a rare landfall in Georgia and South Carolina, a place along the East Coast that, due to the shape of the coastline, is hit far less often than Florida in the Outer Banks of North Carolina, which is on either side of that bay. While Matthew's powerful winds destroyed a lot of property and knocked power out for many people. As you can see here, the winds were strong enough to pull this tree right out of the ground. But studying decades of hurricane damage has revealed the most deadly and destructive aspect of any hurricane is its water. Hurricanes drop incredible amounts of rain, as you can see on this radar animation, but they also push vast amounts of ocean water inland, which we call storm surge. Thankfully, Matthew's path paralleled most of the southeastern coastline, preventing the worst of his storm surge from inundating the coast. Yet, as you can see, the intense rainfall battered Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. When it was all said and done, some 13.6 trillion gallons of water fell from Matthew. And I want to give thanks to my colleague Ryan Maui for doing that calculation to get that number. But where we are, in terms of rainfall totals for Matthew, looks something like this. A large section of the southeast coast received well over 10 inches of rain. This has forced the closure of hundreds of roads and bridges, and there have been reports of several dams failing under the pressure to release all of that water. Focusing on ag, here's a look at a cotton field that is very near harvest. It will take several days for this field to dry out and delay field work potentially for a few weeks. And this is what the general picture looks like for ag across a big chunk of the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. Now, there was a few funny things that did happen with Matthew. As you know, many grocery stores were cleaned out ahead of Matthew, and here is one of my favorite tweets from last week. And this one said, "South Florida wants to survive Hurricane Matthew, but we'd rather die than eat clam chowder." Just thought that was funny to see all the empty shelves, but 8 cans of clam chowder still sitting on the shelf. Well, then there was this guy. In last week's video, I thought I made it clear that if you were told to evacuate, you should do so without hesitation. Well, after boarding up the nearby houses, this guy stepped out into the wind for a few minutes of headbanging into the hurricane force winds with his American flag. And finally, I have to show you this radar animation. This is showing us a radar variable called differential reflectivity. This region of bright radar reflectivity values are found in the eye of Hurricane Matthew, and it is not from rain, but actually from birds that took flight in the clear eye and became caught up in the hurricane and couldn't land. Well, that is except for this guy, who decided to ride out most of the hurricane in a bathroom in St. Augustine. Pretty smart bird in my opinion. Okay, so back to the ag weather. Much of last week was dry for the Corn Belt. The early week rains we did see didn't really slow things down too much, and a lot of progress was made, especially in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. In fact, in Illinois, harvest made so much progress that the corn cano, as my kids call it, is already starting to take shape at the Andersons along Route 150 near Champaign, Illinois. Well, this animation shows you how a lot of the Corn Belt will get several more days this week in the fields, as drier conditions will prevail thanks to higher air pressure over the Midwest. But a cold front will be coming through the Great Plains and arrive in the Midwest by Wednesday and Thursday, spreading some rain and dropping temperatures back down for a few days. Expect widespread frost and freeze conditions in the northern plains along with this cold front. But that cooler weather only hangs around until the end of the week as another ridge builds in the jet stream across the central and eastern United States by next weekend. Well, that warmth will likely last for most of next week too, where temperatures will climb more than 10 degrees above normal at times. Very quickly though, as we wrap up this video, I want to report to you on the weather in South America. Recent rainfall in the northern growing regions is bringing soil moisture storage back to its more common levels for this time of year. Heavy rainfall is expected in the southern growing regions on the tail of a large cold front that is forecast to pass through the area. In total, the start of the South American growing season is getting off to a pretty good start, given the drought conditions in the northern growing regions that were going on during the off-season. Well, as always, we at Agrible will bring you the latest and best weather forecast information through our morning farm report so that you can efficiently plan your operations. We thank you for your attention and hope you look forward to our next weather video update. Thank you.